youth. Grab
Good morning, everyone. Whew. Boy, this month is hurtling by. Does it feel that way to others? So busy and full and rich and dense. I was walking with someone the other day and saying that autumn is a season where you start to feel panicked. Like, we're running out of the nice days, we're running out of the time to be outside, and so everything feels like you need to pack it in. Or at least that was what we were experiencing. I am glad you are all here. My name is Kirsten Hunter. I'm the director of Lifespan Ministries here at South Church. I serve in co-leadership with Reverend Ellen Quadgrass, and we serve in shared ministry here in this congregation with every one of you. I am welcoming you if you are joining us online. Hello. You're welcome to open the live chat where you can say hello to one another, and Ben Abbott is there to greet you. And those of you here in the sanctuary, settle in for today's worship. Today I will be leading along with Katherine Errecart, who is serving as WA for her first time. And our Director of Children and Family Ministries, Jen Deo-Barry, will be helping with the Time for All Ages this service. Music will be offered both by Susan Adams, who's going to be playing the organ today, and Jen Leyden will be helping with songs. As we explore this time of belonging together this month, it is especially important to acknowledge the displacement of the original people who belonged to the land upon which this sanctuary was built, including the Abenaki and the Pennacook people who were stewards to the seacoast for millennia before it was colonized by Europeans, who held a deep sense and awareness of their belonging to this place, and still do. May this weekly recognition continue to deepen our commitment to repairing the harm and damaged relationships with Indigenous people here in New England and across the globe, as well as with the land herself. May we continue to recognize that such a commitment will require us to listen deeply and to be willing to change and act in response to what we hear. I encourage you to look at your order of service for details about the worship and all of the things that are happening in our community. I'm going to share a few announcements with you in a little bit, but it's always great to read that. Take it home with you. Make sure you check out all that's going on here. There are coloring supplies and activities in the back of the church should anyone like to have something to play or fiddle with during the service. There's a nursery downstairs for those 3 and under, should parents choose. Older children are welcome to join Jen Deo-Barry downstairs for religious education activities following the Time for All Ages this morning. But we also always celebrate the wiggles and noises of our multi-generational community here in the sanctuary throughout the service, so children are always allowed to remain here with their families. After service, everyone of every age is invited to gather on the portico. I think we're squeezing out that outside time for treats and conversation. There are assisted listening devices in the back of the room and large print hymnals for anyone who needs them. Please take a moment to silence your cell phones if you haven't already. And as for those announcements, the ones I've got are one, Lori Bilby and I are planning a Friendsgiving on the Saturday after Thanksgiving, I believe it is. If anyone would like to help us plan that, please find me and let me know, or send me an email during the week. We'd love a few more people just helping imagine what that's going to look like. And if you are someone who looks for some company around that time of year, know that we'll be having a potluck and would love to have you there. Also, before you leave today, out on the table, at the welcome table, there are these little squares that tell you about an action that's happening at the trade port on Tuesday morning. It is connected with the ongoing activism that's happening in our community to speak out against the transporting of human beings through the Pease trade port. So there are ICE actions happening on Tuesday morning because the Pease Development Authority will be having a meeting, and they have a time for public comment. There's also a code on there to allow you to sign a petition that's being brought there. So if you can't make it, you can still participate by doing that. And the other thing that I'd like to share with you is if you're interested in books, we have an all-church read again in October. There's information in your order of service. We're reading a book by Rebecca Solnit. And there are bookmarks downstairs, so feel free to grab them. They have a place for you to make notes and a couple questions that can kind of steer you as you're reading. I think that's all I've got, except that I know there's one more announcement. Anita Rosef, the chair of the stewardship team, was hoping to make an announcement about some big changes that they're engaged with this year.
You heard about Mission United?
No.
Yes. No.
Yes, I hear they're buying us dinner.
Dinner? No, not dinner. It's actually lunch on October 19th. Don't miss it.
I have heard that they're rethinking everything.
Okay. You're all right. We are reimagining stewardship. We are Mission United, where money and ministry meet.
Yeah.
This isn't just about budgets, it's about stewardship as a spiritual practice, sustaining the heart of South Church. If you give 2.5% of your resources as self-identified, please let us know and join us for Sustainers Night on Thursday, October 2nd. And everyone is invited to a community lunch on Sunday, October 19th. Please let one of our team members know if you would like to join us on that day. Now let's meet our team. BJ? Brian? Dave? And we have a few team members who aren't here, Richard Spence and Lori Bilby. And I would like also to mention Carla Cole, who's helping us with Sustainers Night. And yay! Big round of applause for that. We are Mission United, where
Money
and ministry meet. Thank you.
There's one more message from Alice. And I'll just say, if you have in the past heard of the ABC team, that's what they're renaming. So ABC is now Mission United. Woo, I love it.
Boy, that's a hard act to follow. I wanted to talk to you a little bit today about the covenant groups, but first, I'd like to say a word to anyone who is either new to the church or in the process of renewing their connection, especially in our age of such tumult. It is so important for us to make connections. Okay. But, you know, working with and sharing activities with others is one of the best ways to do that. So besides, and one of the things that I do here is working with shared ministry, and our job is to meet with new people especially, get to know you better, and find out what the best point of connection would be for you. And it's different for all of us. So just be looking at all the things the church has to offer, because they are many. Find what's going to make your heart sing and do that. My first point of connection when I joined the church 9 years ago was a covenant group. And it was especially important for me because just days before we moved to Portsmouth, my husband Michael was diagnosed with a glioblastoma brain tumor. So the covenant group that I joined helped me walk through his last few months and helped me navigate that time after he died. which was, as you can imagine, really difficult. So they were a great support during that time, but even more than that, that being involved in that group was an invitation to get out of my own head, my own grieving process, and be thinking about some of the deeper topics that are presented in the covenant group format. It is so rare in today's world that we have a chance to really explore our beliefs about all kinds of things, to explore how our past and our upbringing influenced where we are now, to explore our hopes and fears for the future, and to do so in a very safe, warm, and welcoming setting. So I've been a member of that same covenant group for the entire 9 years that I've been a member of this church. For me, it's kind of the touchstone of a spiritual life that continues, hopefully, to grow. So I hope you all will also consider that. It's a wonderful place to start if you're new to South Church. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. Kirsten and I are going to invite you to do the invocation with us this morning. I think most of you probably know Come, Come, whoever you are, but feel free to peek at your hymnal if you need it. We're going to sing it in a round. Kirsten is going to kind of lead this side of the congregation. I'll be over here with you guys. We're going to sing it through once together and then join in a round with us. Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving, ours is no caravan of despair. Come, yet again come. Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving, ours is no caravan of despair. Come, yet again come. Lover of leaving, ours is no caravan whoever you are. Wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving, ours is no caravan of despair. Come, yet again come. Lover of leaving, ours is no caravan of despair. Come, yet again come.
One Love by Reverend Hope Johnson. We are one, a diverse group of proudly kindred spirits. We choose to journey together, taking risks, opening up, making mistakes, paying attention, asking questions, learning to love our neighbors, learning to love ourselves. Please join in reciting our mission statement found in your order of service. At South Church, we nurture spiritual growth through worship, learning, and community. We celebrate the worth and dignity of all people, and we inspire one another to act on our faith in the larger community. The summer after my junior year in high school, I arrived at camp to begin my role as an assistant counselor. It was my 7th summer there and the end of a 4-year leadership program. By then, there were just 14 in our cohort, and we felt like we had known each other forever. That night, I got in late. On my bunk was a note from my co-counselors. "You're here. Come meet us at the boathouse." I said goodbye to my mom and set off across camp. To get there, I had to walk a narrow, sandy path through the woods. For about 15 yards, it was pitch black, so dark I couldn't see a hand in front of my face. But I wasn't afraid. I knew where I was headed, toward my friends, my summer family. A whole season stretched ahead of us, and I knew I belonged. That memory surfaced when I heard today's theme of belonging. Somehow it was that fearless walk in the dark that captured the feeling most clearly. Belonging meant I was safe, I was known, and I was held by the community around me. In adulthood, I've sometimes longed for that same feeling, especially after moving to a new place and searching for my people. But in reflecting on today's theme, I realized that belonging at camp didn't come from carefully picking people like me. It came from the structure itself and from years of simply showing up together. At camp, you were automatically in. As adults, we don't often get that gift. Belonging can feel harder to come by. But maybe it's not about finding the perfect people. It's about choosing to belong to one another. No tests, no auditions, just showing up and saying yes. Recently, I was invited to a local women's surf retreat. I said yes, but I know only one person going, and I'm nervous. But I'm trying to carry this mindset. What if I simply choose to belong? And what if they choose to belong to me? Like that walk through the woods, it feels like a leap of faith. At camp, I knew what was waiting on the other side. In life, we often don't. Sometimes all we can do is step into the dark and trust that belonging will meet us there. Please stand in body or spirit for our opening hymn, "We Would Be One," number 318 in the gray hymnal.
Binds our hearts and points us Okay, my friends, I would love to invite all kids and teenagers and even any adults who would like to come up here for a time for all ages. I'm excited about this. So as we're coming back from summer and getting ready for a new program year, I thought it might be good to tell you that whatever age you are, we're actually planning for your grown-upness already, your adulthood. We're already thinking about what we hope that you will have as adults. So like you come here on Sundays, and it might seem like one brief moment, but what you might not realize is it's one moment of a larger plan we have in mind for you. And it's kind of like we build a container that has some boundaries and tools and opportunities, and we put you in it to let you create community together. And I thought it might be helpful to show part of this video. I wish I could show the whole thing, but it would take the whole church time. But I took out pieces of this really awesome video that all of our high school teens created. There's one sitting right here. They created this video about what their church group is like. So by the time you get to be their age, this is what it's going to be like. And so I have 3 parts to show you. The first part is them talking about what they do when they have their sessions. So see if any of it seems familiar to your classes. Oh, whoa, what even happened there? Oh boy. Oh no, hang on. Problem. Oh boy. Okay, so what you'll need to do is get really close together if you want to see. We're going to have to look on this little screen. Maybe I tricked you. Maybe this is part of it, and I just want you to get really close together. And I think our tech desk is putting a link to the video in the chat. So if you can't see it now, or if you're at home, you could watch it later, this clip. And I'm hoping you all might be able to hear it. Let's see.
It always starts off with like a chalice and we like say opening words.
We kind of hang out for a bit, talk with each other, amongst the youth, grab any snack that we want to. We always have those laid out.
We'll like go around saying our names and like saying how we're doing.
When we like go around the circle and just like say our week's been, that's always like really nice.
Then we get to the actual nitty-gritty. We start getting down into whatever our activity for that day is.
Usually we'll talk about like a project or an event that's coming up, and we'll kind of go more in depth about it.
Sometimes we talk about like what it means to be a UU.
And sometimes we make things. Like I remember my first ever meeting, we did like candles. We made the candles that we were recycling into little jars.
Often at the end of it, we'll play a game and say closing words, and yeah, that's about it.
Okay, did you hear some of the things that they do? What are some of the parts that are the same as what you do in your classes? They eat. It's probably the most important part. Did you notice what the video is even called? We eat food and talk about stuff. Because they were like, that's basically what it's about. So they eat. Did you hear them say they light a chalice? And they check in. Is that something we do every single time? And then they have activities that are different each week. And then they might play a game at the end, right? All of that is the same as what you're doing now. So we're still trying to get this on the big TV. Okay. Press play, see what happens. Okay, pause, because there's no sound. Is volume up on this?
Here, take this. Sorry, everybody.
We're getting real creative over here. That's what's going on. Okay. Ready?
When you hear the words youth group, you definitely have a vision of like sitting in a circle, like talking about really super religious stuff, and it seems like that's not fun and that's like something you have to do. That's sort of the image I had in my mind, but it's just not at all like that.
Another version of me, I was aiming. It's good to meet people that like don't go to your school, because then you can like meet new people that you never would have before.
At first I did not want to come because I thought it was going to be like a very quiet, silent classroom.
I thought I would feel like the odd one out, where it was the complete opposite.
Everyone's so welcoming, friendly.
I love hanging out with like so many different kinds of people in so many ways that all have different interests and takes on things.
When someone says church group, I think a lot of people would go to like kids learning about God, but that's not really what we do here at all.
It doesn't seem like school, and it also doesn't seem like a church youth group. It just seems like I'm hanging out with my friends.
There's an aspect about senior youth that's more of a place that you can just settle into who you are instead of feeling like you have to change.
It's really like a safe space, and things that are said here stay here. And that is very nice, knowing that when you do open up about those more personal things, it's not going anywhere. It's gonna stay right there.
I feel really comfortable. Like, it's like we're all like super close friends. Like, I feel like I can really be myself.
I feel like this is a place I can come and belong. I think when it comes down to it, I think that's what youth group is meant for.
It can be so intimidating, and I felt this at the beginning, to join a group that knows each other so well. But the reason we know each other so well is because we're all just being ourselves and are trying our best to be really kind and empathetic.
From day one, this has always been a space where I've never felt judged or felt like I couldn't be myself, which makes me feel so comfortable, and it's really cool that we have that space here.
It just feels like there's a very strong sense of community here.
School, like everyone feels like they have to like pretend to like be cool or whatever, but I feel like since like everyone's just like here and like, you know, we're not going to school together, so there's like not that pressure, so I feel like everyone's just like, oh, we can just be ourselves.
Okay, so we're doing our best over here. So in that part, they were talking about like what they thought it would be like. Some of them thought it might be boring, or that it would be hard to join a group, or they didn't feel like they really knew people that well. So maybe some of that sounds familiar too. But did you hear what they learned that it is really like there? I know it's tricky with the funny tech issues we're having, but did you hear anything about what they like about their group? Did you hear that they like to meet people from other schools? People that they might not hang out with otherwise, but they actually learn are like really welcoming and kind. Your sister is in this youth group in the video. Yeah, so basically over time they've built a community where they all belong, they all welcome each other and create a safe space. So now we have one last part. Let's see if we can get it going.
I find sharing my thoughts with the group being really helpful in case there's like something on my mind that I want to talk about.
Like, I can think of instances off the top of my head where, like, when there's big topics going on in our own community, I feel like we talk a lot about it, and it's good.
It's a formal-ish safe space where we can actually sit and talk about issues that matter to us.
I see those connections like grow stronger and also get to build new ones with people.
With that community, it allows you to talk about the harder subjects.
It's really good, like, when we do have those conversations, and then I feel like we all kind of ask each other questions that make us think further.
I would really start to open up and express my opinions, and I think that's helped me not only in youth group but in other aspects of my life to just sort of talk about whatever it is that's important to me, even if it's hard to talk about.
A lot of it is showing you what you can do to make that difference, whether it's providing you with the opportunities to, whether it be like going to a rally or like, hey, you can come and talk at this place, try and support these people.
It really helps us make differences in the world because like everyone can, and to make the world a better place. And the senior youth group, they give you lots of like opportunities to help you do that.
As a group, with everybody and people from different walks of life and different views, together we can have a really cool perspective and make a lot of changes. I think that community is really important and that togetherness is key to making those differences.
You just never feel like you're out of place, and this is just such like a special and different and like sort of magical space for me. Like my best friends are here, and when life outside of this group feels like hard and it's hard to be friends with my friends and it's hard to do my schoolwork and it's hard to think about the future, I just like I always know that these people are here, and it's just like when I'm here it feels so easy to just like exist.
At the end of each meeting, it's normally something you want to take away from the meeting. Recently, it's been on the person across from you say like a compliment about them or something you noticed today or something you want to bring with you throughout the week.
The end of day discussions like really help me like think more about what I'm gonna like achieve this week.
I think it just helps you carry what you learned in the meeting, so it's not just here in this building, but it gets spread throughout the world.
Oh man, those kids are awesome. So in that part, they were basically talking about how creating the community here helps them in their lives, not only here, but out in changing the world to make the world a place where they want to be grown-ups too. So, yes, we're gonna go downstairs. We're gonna work on building community. You all are building community. And just keep in mind that our main job for you is to help have a space that is safe for you to be exactly who you are, because that is what will make a really healthy, strong community that supports you through your whole life. And grown-ups, this goes for you too. The container is the same. The more you show up, the more you build connections over and over and over, the more you have a solid community to support you in exactly who you are. All right, let's go downstairs.
As part of our larger mission of community care, each month we share our plate with a group doing work that aligns with our values. During the month of September, our collection will be shared with Gather. Gather provides nutritious food and prepared meals to those experiencing hunger through a pantry market, mobile markets, and innovative food access programs. Gather serves more than 10,000 Seacoast residents each month. You can contribute directly to the plate through the South Church website or by using the QR code printed in the order of service.
Oh, we give thanks for this precious day, for all gathered here and those far away, for this time we share with love and care. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day.
One of my favorite hymns that we didn't end up singing today begins like this. For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. As we come into a time of prayer, it feels important to remember who we are. In these days, in the face of tremendous horrors, as we watch fear being stoked by our own government through escalated immigration raids and military occupation in our own cities, as we witness our country continuing to fund a ruthless, endless genocide in Gaza, in the face of rampant gun violence and the relentless targeting of the most vulnerable among us, including the poor in our nation and across the globe, including our immigrant neighbors and friends, including trans and LGBTQ people, Black and brown people, women, children, the earth herself. As we witness all of the evil that is rampant in these times, let us not miss that the people enacting these evils have lost hold of the most basic and essential truth, that we belong to one another, that we thrive when we choose to love and create, that hate and violence are born from a separation that can be healed. No good comes from it. It should stop. I am not so naive that I think if we just hold hands, everything will be okay. But every one of us who truly understands that we are held in belonging, that we are welcome just as we are, every one of us who feels that becomes a healer. So much good in this world comes from belonging. And when we know that we belong, then we can help others to remember that they belong too. Love heals. So my prayer today is that we continue to work on being this incredible community of radical welcome, that we continue to look for ways to do it even better, for ways to grow healers for the world, for ourselves, for each other, that we bring healing out into everything that we do, that we bring it from this building into the aching world in whatever ways we can. As we prepare to take some time for silent meditation, you are welcome to come forward and light a candle for a joy or a concern on your own heart. I am going to light a candle this morning for our beloved Nancy Hoop, who passed away this week shortly after beginning hospice care. She will be deeply missed. She was someone who made everyone she knew feel like they belonged. My heart goes out to her husband, Barney, and their whole family. May our prayers find their way out from our hearts into the world. May our love grow. I was moved by the story Katherine shared. I've been thinking a lot about that idea of a fearless walk in the dark as being a really great way to demonstrate the power of the feeling of being known and held in community, that it can make us a little fearless. Maybe not all the way fearless, but at least braver. I've been reading a book by John Powell titled Belonging Without Othering over the past few weeks. And early on in his book, Powell shares about a study that was done of 5,000 people in the United States. And what the report showed was that most of the people in that study reported a feeling of non-belonging. Oh boy, can you believe it? My own phone. Most of the people, of the 5,000 people, reported a feeling of non-belonging. 64% felt it in their workplaces. 74% felt non-belonging in their local community. Nearly 1/5 of the people in the study said that they didn't feel belonging anywhere in their lives. And all I could think as I read that was no wonder things are such a mess. There are many explanations as to why loneliness and a feeling of non-belonging has become such a crisis in our country and in many places across the world. Powell actually traces part of the story back to the scientific revolution, to the age of reason. He says that our awakening to the idea of mind over body was a beginning point for what has now become the hyper-individualism that plagues our country today. His musings and journeys and the information that he shares are interesting. He writes extensively also about the dark side of belonging, explaining that our human need for belonging can be exploited. We know this, right? Along with belonging often comes this synchronous force of othering, what he calls exclusionary belonging. You can be in, but they cannot. Whenever you hear those people, it's a pretty good sign that there's some othering going on. It's everywhere. One need not look far to see it. Our political rhetoric is rife with it. But that's not what I want to talk about. I don't want to talk about the dark side of belonging today. I want to talk about the kind of belonging where we're all in. Like Katherine said, belonging at camp that didn't come from her carefully picking people just like her. It came from the structure itself and from years of simply showing up together. At camp, you were automatically in. Not exclusionary belonging, but inclusive belonging. We need those spaces. We need that in our lives. I wrote down a quote once by Jenny Ophel. It's on my wall. I don't remember what book it was of hers that I was reading, but it says, libraries are one of the last non-commercial spaces we have where everyone is welcome. A little glimpse of how we could live if we chose to be a generous society rather than a fearful one. And I loved that. One, because I love libraries. They are such critical spaces in our communities. We best protect them. I wouldn't be surprised if they'll be under attack soon. They kind of already are. They matter a lot. They really are. One of the core places where anyone can walk in the doors and feel like they belong. But I also love this other idea of being a generous society, not a fearful one. I want to be a generous society, not a fearful one, do you? I kind of feel like this community does an okay job of that, actually. There is a lot of generosity I witness on the seacoast. I think it is partly rooted in the fact that we have a fair amount of privilege here. We have a fair amount of safety and security that comes from an abundance of resources, but whatever the reason, the generosity that we witness in this community is inspiring. It's important. I want more of it. And right now it feels like in the world there is this push of fear. Fear feels everywhere. I believe that generous societies grow in the third spaces, like libraries, like congregations that have an intention around being welcoming to all. Third spaces, not home, not work, but another place where you can go and feel belonging, ideally without having to pay money for it. Imagine if there were more of those spaces. There used to be. That is where we can find, as adults, the kind of belonging that we can find in summer camp as kids. I think our faith, I think we are poised to meet this moment because of the power of those kinds of third spaces. I think that Unitarian Universalism is well suited for right now, and I will tell you why. Often, when I'm asked to explain what Unitarian Universalism is, I say that we are a covenantal faith rather than a creedal faith. We do not have a shared creed akin to the way Christians follow the Bible or Muslims follow the teachings of the Quran. Though we may find inspiration in those holy texts, in many other holy texts, as well as other sources, what is central to our faith is not creed, but covenant, a shared commitment to live our values with ourselves, with each other, and with the wider world, a commitment to covenant. And there is something important to understand about covenant. Reverend Rebecca Parker writes, "We receive who we are before we choose who we will become. As human beings, our lives begin and never leave the soil of this earth that shapes us through blood, kinship, genes, culture, associations, social systems, networks of relationships, and extended communities. Even when we do not directly know the people whose lives are linked with ours, our lives unfold in relationship to theirs. We are born into relationship before we shape relationships by our conscious intention. We inherit covenant before we create covenant." Whether you relate to the idea of God or Gaia or Buddha nature or a great mystery or some universal love, we can agree we do not make ourselves. We are given the gift of life, the gift of earth that sustains life, and the gift of one another. We are given it, no strings attached. Here, now, and in all generations leading up to now, we are born into belonging. That is a covenant we inherit. That is universalism. A universal belonging, not specific to any one religion, not only for some. All of us are born into that belonging. And when you realize that part of covenant, then in our lives we can choose to create covenant in return as an act of reciprocity. We are given the miracle of life, and we can choose then to treat life as if it is miraculous, larger than any one of us, beyond our understanding, but something that we can shape. The practice of covenant is a powerful relational endeavor where we make explicit how we aspire to be, which then sets us on an intentional course together. We speak often in this community of our shared values, and we ask a lot of questions of one another as we grow in our understanding of what it means to live our values. Knowing that we can learn from one another, we will always have more to learn. We will never do it just right, and we're gonna keep trying. All through all of it, we strive to keep love at the center of all that we do, to act from a place of knowing that we belong to one another. Doesn't that sound like what the world needs right now? Right? Well, lucky for us, we've got it right here. I found that thinking about this practice of covenant is really helpful when the world feels especially unmoored. When I feel afraid of the state of things, it helps me to know I belong to a community who, like we sang in our opening hymn, are trying to build for tomorrow a nobler world than we have known today. What would the world look like if we all knew that we belong to one another? There is a minister, her name is Reverend Marjorie Bowens-Wheatley. Her husband was here at church 2 weeks ago, Clyde Grubbs, her husband. He is widowed by her and remarried. He was here with his new wife, but they were married until she died. She is one of our UU ancestors, a cherished and wise minister. Cancer took her from us in 2006, but not before. She helped to shape the Unitarian Universalism that we know in many ways. Marjorie Bowens-Wheatley didn't start out as a minister. First, she worked as a journalist and a public television producer. She'd grown up with church, but it had been a long time since she had gone to any church. She was an intelligent Black woman and a social justice activist, and in her mid-30s, she found herself at a gas station, interviewing a mother who was deep in grief. And Marjorie found that she couldn't do her job as she had been trained. She couldn't push this woman to break down in tears for her camera. This is a quote from one of her sermons years later. In those years, she says, my values had gotten confused. I had had a long period of absence from churches, and so at the time, I didn't have the religious language to name what had happened with the woman at the gas station. But the person behind the story had become more important to me than getting the story, and I knew I could no longer be a reporter. At least not that kind of reporter, she said. I knew I would have to leave the media. In the midst of this life transition, Marjorie walked through the doors of All Souls UU in Washington, D.C. And she walked into that church for the first time, looked around, and realized she knew many of the people sitting in the pews. She knew them from advocacy work, from community activism, from social networks, so many of them. But none of them had ever invited her to the church. She needed a home in rough water, and she had to find it on her own. If she had not walked through those doors, we would have missed out on an incredibly remarkable minister who served our faith. If South Church did nothing else other than pledge and serve to be a communal space where everyone is welcome and can find a sense of belonging and an opportunity to search deep into themselves and see what is there and what they are called to do in the world, if we did only that, we would make the world a better place, significantly. You all can be proud of what is happening here, what our youth shared in that video, which was fostered here in this place of belonging. A year ago, we started opening the building once a week to unhoused folks to be able to come in and take a shower. And something that many of us who have been hosts for that program have noticed is that when guests come in, the showers are they feel really good, but those guests are also just as hungry to talk. It seems almost as important sometimes for them to have someone to talk to. Based on what we're seeing out in the world, what we're doing here is important. And I think that it's time to spread the good word There are more people that are in rough water and need a home right now. And I know it's not really our New England way. I know we're really pretty fond of respecting each other's personal lives and not making suggestions about where they might go, especially not church. Saying the church word for some of us is hard. And I know it's weird for a UU to say, we gotta tell everybody the good word, but I really believe it. It's not for everyone, but there are folks out there who need this place, and I will tell you, when you are in a lonely place, when you feel disconnected from the world, an invitation can be a lifeline. Who are the people you know who need a home in rough water right now? How can we be a community where they can find belonging too? Beloveds, may you never doubt that you were born into belonging. May you never doubt that you are loved and held in care in this community. May that safety all allow you to walk dark paths and be unafraid. And may we all spread the love in this broken world. Amen. Our closing hymn is hymn number 121, and we're going to sing verse 1, 2, and 4. We're skipping 3.
We'll build a land where we bind up the broken. We'll build a land where the captives go free, where the oil of gladness dissolves all mourning. Oh, we'll build a promised land that can be. Come, build a land where sisters and brothers, anointed by God, may then create peace where justice shall roll down like waters, and peace like an ever-flowing stream. We'll build a land where we bring the good tidings to all the afflicted and all those who mourn, and we'll give them garlands instead of ashes. Oh, we'll build a land where peace is born. Come, build a land where sisters and brothers, anointed by God, may then create peace where justice shall roll down like waters, and peace like an ever-flowing stream. Come, build a land where the mantles of praises resound from spirits its worried and once weak, where like oaks of righteousness stand her people. Oh, come, build the land, my people we seek. Come, build a land where sisters and brothers, my God, may then create peace where justice shall roll down like waters, and peace like an ever-flowing stream.
We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
So these are words also from Marjorie Bowens Wheatley. She was a theist, as you will be able to tell from these words. For me, she says, faith comes through trust that God will see me through, but it also comes in the belief that God works through people, that grace enters our lives through relationships with others, through communities of love and justice. Faith is relational. It's about being in communities of faithful people, and it is through relationship, a divine presence working through people, that my faith is nurtured. Go forth and spread love, my loves.